Hello?
Do you want to do the Interlagos 6 hour with me?
What?
Do you want to do the Interlagos 6 hour with me?
I cannot hear you over the car.
I hate you, buddy.
So, here's the deal. Reyze asked if I want to do the 6 hours of Interlagos in the Porsche 963 GTP a week before the event. The catch? I have zero experience in either the car or the track. I do have some prototype experience as I did the Global Endurance Tour, 24 Hours of Daytona in the LMP2 with Reyze and a few others at the end of last year. But aside of that, I had very little hypercar experience. Even in my LMU days, I only did a couple laps offline just to give them a go. To make this even more difficult, I have never driven in Interlagos before, like ever. The clock was ticking and I had to get some good practice in. Except, here's the kicker. I was also practicing for the 12 hours of Bathurst, which was on the same weekend. This meant that I'd be juggling practice for both events, and spoiler, Bathurst didn't end up going very well. We got taken out on lap 3, which pretty much put us out of the race, but that's a whole nother story that we won't get into. Usually it's not recommended to learn both a track and a car at the same time, as it can be quite a lot of information you're having to process at once. In this finite mental bandwidth, I'm trying to learn the ins and outs of a car that I've never driven before, while at the same time trying to figure out the general flow of Sao Paulo. Cognitive overload is a concept I've always used as the foundation for improving, but it's a fairly big topic, so I'll give you the TLDR version. Basically, your brain has 3 main ways it works when you're driving or gaming in general. First, you've got your conscious thinking. This is what you're actively focusing on, like where's the traffic or what's my fuel strategy. Then there's your subconscious. This is where the bulk of your mind will be, as it covers stuff like racecraft, accident avoidance, and in the ideal world, your driving as well. The subconscious part of your brain is the least cognitively demanding of the 3. Lastly, we've got your mechanical aspect, which are the stuff that you do physically, like steering or using the pedals. In FPS games, these were mostly like aiming and movement. Now, when you're learning something new, you usually need to focus on one of these areas more than the other. But that's the tricky part. As you put more of your resources on one aspect, you have to decrease the amount you can focus on in other areas. If you go beyond this limit is when you hit cognitive overload, resulting in brain freezes or silly mistakes. It's this mental juggle I had to get over before I started seeing any real progress in my driving. But as I started to get familiar with the track and car, things began to slowly fall into place, and I was able to start shifting my focus around to various aspects of the driving and learning the track. By the end of the session, the foundations had been set. I had a rough mental map of the track and a basic understanding of how the 963 wanted to be driven. The lap times were nowhere near where it needed to be, but honestly, that wasn't the goal today. The goal was to get a general grasp of both the cars and track so I have something to build on in the coming days. I spent the midweek mostly diving into data, spending time comparing telemetry and watching other people's onboards. Comparing data from mine to other people who are a lot faster than me, it was very obvious where I was losing time. My biggest issue being utilizing the tires to the fullest during the braking phase, especially as the aero bleeds off as the car slows down. With various other things I had to work on over the course of the week, it was a constant back and forth looking at telemetry data and hopping back into the sim to try something new. And that's just the reality of this phase of practice. It's tedious, it's frustrating, and most of the time you feel like you're going backwards. However, I do think that this is the most important stage of practice, because out of all the things that don't work, every now and then you'll have something that sticks, and that's where I tend to find with lap times. The last couple of days were mostly just rinse repeat and pretty boring, so not much to talk about here. With the race now only a few days away, I was forced to shift my focus from squeezing out whatever lap times I can find to focusing on race pace and consistency. This was also when I entered my first race for this track and car combo. Thankfully, I wasn't alone, as Reyze being in a similar skill bracket to me meant we could race in the same split more often than not. So this official race will be the first test to see how well I hold up with the rest of the field. Alright. I'm scared. I'm so scared. I got murdered some GT3s. Finally, I'm the one murdering. I'm finally the one doing the murdering.
You have the power now.
Jokes aside, I qualified in P9 with Reyze putting in a tidy lap, putting him on pole. Going into the race start, my real goal was to see what traffic would be like, but before I get to cut up some GT3 traffic, I'd have to survive the race start.
I'm P4, I think.
A blinking Ferrari caused a little bit of chaos into turn 1, which I managed to avoid, moving me up to P4. While I knew I didn't have the pace to keep my new position, I kept my head down and continued to drive to the best of my ability, and not too long into the race, we started to approach some traffic for the first time. And let's just say it got a little busy. Lap after lap, I was weaving through the sea of GT3s without too much issue. However, there were definitely a few moments where things got a little sketchy. Some cars would do some unexpected moves, and others just didn't seem to realize that I was even there.
It looks like Christian and Martin. On your left.
Why are you backing up, you fucking moron? Oh my me. Sorry.
Are you alive?
Yeah, I'm alive. He's backing onto the racing line. Idiot.
And this is where cognitive load really comes back into play again. All the things I've worked to build into my subconscious area of my brain was really being tested as I processed new variables such as managing traffic, timing overtakes, and watching my mirrors, all while trying to keep my Reyze clean. This did mean mistakes were also starting to creep in, and unfortunately for me, I spun my car coming out of turn 4, pushing me over the incident count limit, resulting in a drive-through penalty. While a penalty always sucks, I came away with some very valuable experience. I ended up doing a few more races over the next couple of days to try get more reps in traffic before the 6 hours. But before I knew it, it was finally time for the ultimate test, the 6 hours of Interlagos. After a week of grinding laps, comparing telemetry and juggling practice on 2 completely different cars, it all came down to this. The 6 hours of Interlagos. No more practice sessions, no more I'll fix it tomorrow. Whatever I've learned over the past week was what I would be racing with. Originally the race was supposed to be just Reyze and I, but after a terrible Bathurst race, we'll be joined by our good friend Aaron from DomHosRacing. He doesn't know this until he sees this video, but Dom is very close to 10k subs, so if you can help him get there, I'm sure he would appreciate that. And while I'm plugging everyone, if you'd like some stunning liveries like these, go hit up Reyze and I'm sure he can sort you out. Now, yapping aside, the race plan was pretty simple. Reyze would open with a double, hand the car over to me where I'd also do a double, then Dom would anchor with another double plus a small splash to round off the race. As planned, Reyze took the opening stint without much issue. With a very large variance in skill across the GTP drivers, the gaps formed quite quickly. This did mean the pressure should have dropped off fairly early and was mostly just settling into a sort of rhythm until at least the traffic came around.
What do we think the best track of all time is?
Le Mans.
I was gonna say Spa, but
Nah.
Le Mans pretty up there.
What?
No, Spa is, Spa's brilliant. It's classic, it's legendary, and it's good to drive. But if you're going to say Spa or Le Mans, it's always Le Mans, all the way.
I like Hockenheim.
That is certainly one of the takes of all time.
Dude, okay, if it was my way, Coda would be at the top, right?
Okay, I'm banning you.
I'm
Actually banning you, bro.
Hockenheim would be
Eliminate
second.
yourself at once.
Please excuse yourself so we don't have to.
Bro, no, Coda is my home track. I always have a spot for that track, dude. I live like 20 minutes away from it.
Well, then I could say Alton Park is the best track in the world.
Alton
Alton
Park.
Park is one of the best carts. I'm not gonna lie. Alton Park is a brilliant track. Like,
Alton
got
Park
my-
versus Le Mans. That's literally Atom Bomb versus Coughing Baby.
okay.
But what I thought was a fairly easy race for the time being, turns out Reyze was pushing hard. He didn't mention this at the time, but he was so focused on the delta that it seemed like some frustration was starting to creep in. And in this frustration, mistakes started to happen.
Because otherwise I'm on 20... Oh, no, I forgot to brake. Holy fuck. Less yapping. If anything, I just keep losing in the second and third sector, because up till here, I am sub 24, and then I lose. And now this is an off track. What am I doing?
We've got quite a comfortable gap, so I suggest just maybe focus on not picking up incident points, and don't worry too much about the pace,
Okay.
because you don't want to drive to a point of frustration.
As the stints wore on, Reyze was picking up more and more incident points.
And they're like, no, it's good, it's good. I'm like, it's not, it doesn't, it's...
Oh god, oh, for fuck's sake, dude. Thought I was slow enough.
Your front right's a little bit bent, but it's not too bad.
I'm sorry, folks.
It's okay, we're just going to do the SR drive of our lives.
Yeah, the off-tracks just kept coming and Reyze was not having a great time. He came in at the end of his second stint where I would get handed a car with 20 incident points.
Yeah, nice.
Getting in the car for a race will always be more tense than on a practice sessions. I know how to drive the car and the track, but in the back of your mind, there's always that thought of what if I make a mistake? And in a team effort, this carries a lot more weight. With the already high incident count, my main role was to keep my stint as clean as possible. And for the first while, things weren't looking too bad.
Yeah, if you could hit some slightly better fuel numbers, get us one extra lap, that'd be good.
I'm sorry. I just feel so Why every time that I race with you, I feel shit, dude.
What, all 2 times that we've raced together?
Yeah, basically. At least this time it not been that hard.
Oi. These guys are
There's
still
your first one?
useless. Yep. Hopefully the last one.
Please don't give me a car with 34 incident points.
I promise, I'll do my best.
Please
I will,
don't.
I will take one for the team and go slow.
It was also nice seeing that I was somewhat competitive, holding similar pace to the top cars. Though, I must admit, the traffic worked in my favor quite a bit, slowing down the rest of the field. And GT traffic is something I want to talk about because I've mostly experienced multi-class racing from the inside of a GT3. When you see a prototype coming up behind, they often close at you at an incredible rate, oftentimes way earlier than what you expect, causing you to react, potentially deviating from whatever line you were driving. What I never considered was how that looks like from the perspective of the faster car. From inside the GTP, the GT cars look like they're barely moving, except under braking is when this flips completely. GT3s having ABS mean they can and will push their braking markers way deeper than what I can in the 963. This means the gap that looked comfortable on the straight can disappear incredibly fast into the braking zone. It's this sudden change in speed delta where you sometimes commit to a gap that might not be there by the time you arrive.
I'm right next to you. Is that my fault?
I mean, the move wasn't really on, but then you were there, so, you know, if he wanted to survive, you basically did have to open the door. But, I mean, if that was real racing, you would have been prosecuted for it.
Okay.
Yeah, into T1 I thought I'd be a lot further alongside the Mercedes, but I just wasn't and accidentally took them out. which sucks, especially because I've been that GT3 driver before. I've made the same mistake from the other side without even realizing it. We apologized for my stupid mistake, and thankfully they didn't end up with any damage. Mistakes were definitely starting to creep in as well, adding to that incident counter I desperately tried to keep down. I also did scare the absolute shit out of my teammates doing this.
Where the flip is this guy?
Oh my god. So, me and Reyze didn't realize you were boxing there. So
Sorry,
that was
lads,
quite scary.
I didn't mean to scare you there.
That made me shit myself. Holy.
I was like, what the fuck is he doing? Alright, everything's checked. This is P1 and GT3. Crucial for the race, kill them. Crucial for the race. Ooh, ooh.
I need to see that again from the front view.
little teaser.
Going on to my second stint, we had another problem on our hands, the rising track temp. With the sun glaring overhead and very little cloud cover, the track temps were climbing quickly. And let's just say some drivers didn't handle that very well.
Oh, that's P3. Yep. Oh, way, wanker. I mean, what I meant to say is P3 fell off.
P3 spun.
A large portion of my stint was literally spent just driving around the CLN Porsche while they kept looping the car trying to maintain P3. Also, don't get me wrong, they were definitely a lot faster pace-wise than me, but when we did end up passing them, they were doing everything to get back in front, which really didn't do them any favors.
Oh, bye-bye.
These guys are just doing it all to stay in front.
They just twatted into that Ferrari. Again, these guys.
Dude, they're flashing me too.
What?
They're flashing when they're behind me.
Why?
Okay, I'm more than fine fighting for position, it is a race after all, but flashing me every time you're behind and diving the inside without any regards just isn't it, lads. Especially at the standards that they were driving in. Anyways, I came in at the end of my stint in P3 that we worked oh so hard for to hand the car over to Dom.
Oh.
With Dom in the car, all he had to do was not get 3 incident points. Okay, make that 2 incident points.
Oh, you fuck! Oh, I've sent it. No, we're fine.
Ah, he got away this time, but it didn't last long.
Oh, no! There it is. Had to happen at some point.
That's right though, it was gonna happen at some point, and surely we don't serve another one, right?
Please don't tell me I get in trouble for crossing the pit exit line.
Can you cross that?
Oh! You can't. Fuck's sake. Fuck's sake. I only thought about that as I did it.
At this point, I have no idea what's going on, and I don't think Dom does either. At least on the bright side, he now has 10 incident points till the end of the race. Much better than the 3 he had when I handed him the car. It's also during this when you kinda just begin to see the skill gap of a 3K driver in a 2K SOF field. Even with a deficit created due to some unforeseen circumstances, he was able to pass P4 and P3 in his first stint. Nothing much really happened during Dom's stint. Most of it was just us chatting about whatever topic we could think of, both in and out of sim racing. And just like that, the 6 hours were over. We finished in P2, which given everything was a result I genuinely didn't see coming. The podium finish wasn't even in the back of my mind at any point leading up to this race, especially because I had zero experience in both the GTP and Interlagos some 5 days ago. But I think that's kind of the point. Under circumstances like these, if you're willing to put in the work, it's incredible how much you can do in a short amount of time. And after what was a rough Bathurst weekend for both Dom and I, finishing P2 here was honestly all you could ask for.